I'm Sam, a cadet Girl Scout. Welcome to my Silverwood project. I will explain the importance of babies wearing hats and show you how to make one. Let's get started. Have you ever realized lots of people like to put hats on their babies? Well, there's a reason for that. 1. Young babies have a difficult time regulating their body temperature. Their heads have a larger surface area compared to the rest of their body, which more heat can leave the body. This especially happens to babies with low body fat or born with little or no hair. Keeping a baby warm is essential so the baby does not become cold or in extreme cases suffer hypothermia. 2. Hats can also serve as protection from heat. Placing a thin hat on the baby's head will prevent the sun's rays from burning the baby's head, but still allow fresh air to flow through the hat. For this you would need a 5.5 inch or 24 peg boom, a hook, a yarn needle, scissors, and yarn. So what I'm going to talk about is this little peg where you tie. This is your starting point and your ending point. If you don't start and end it, you're going to mess up somehow. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get the yarn, and you're going to need to tie it like so on the peg. You want to do it loosely though, because you're going to need to take it off at the end. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to start the second one from the one on top of it. So you're going to need to go loop it around, and you're going to make sure that the cross is in the back. This is the front, and you want to make sure there's just a little string, but then in the back there's going to be a cross right here, and you're going to repeat that all the way back to the little peg that is right here, and you're going to repeat that process. And once you get the hang of doing this, it's easier. And make sure you do it a little bit loosely and not super tight. And now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to repeat that process, even on the ones that already have them. So now what you should have so far is the front. It should look like you have 2 strings on all of them. And now on the back, it's going to look like little waves. And that's where all the crosses are. So now since you finished right here on, so now that you have finished right here on the thing, on the little peg where you started, where you tied off the stuff. Now you're going to tie it around that so your yarn doesn't let go of any of the pegs. And this is what it should look like now. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take the hook, and you're going to need to take the bottom one and going to move it over on top of the top string. The first one might be a little hard because it's your first one. And now it's going to look like, now it's going to have one string. And you're going to repeat that process on every single one to where you have just one string left. And now when you're doing this, the reason why we did it twice on the first time is because that's how you start it. You don't do it on your second time making your layers, because then it's just going to make it thicker and it's going to make it look weirder. So now, once you're doing it, you got to make sure that it's not pulling any other string and it's making it just leaving with one little. So now, once you have hooked all of the strings, it is going to look fabulous. It's going to look like you have some pretty layers. So now you're going to have this inside. And it's okay if you have this little loop. That's just telling you that you've done the hooking. Okay, so once you have done hooking all the things, you're going to unravel the string that is on the peg. It's right here. Now you always need to have two layers of string. So now you're going to do the first step again, which is wrapping the string around the pegs, like this. You want to make sure you don't do them too tight. Now, once you have done that, you're gonna have this again. This looks familiar from the first couple of steps. Now, just what you're gonna do again is you're gonna roll it up on the little peg that you started with, and then you're going to do the same thing that we did with the hook. You gotta go up, bottom over. So now I have done 2 rows. This is what it looks like so far. These little loops back here show that there is 1 row right there and 2 rows. So now you're going to need to do a total of 8 more to make a total of 10. And I'll be right back when I have 10 rows. So now I've completed 10 rows. This is what it looks like. So I'm also going to show you a way how to count them. If you can see, there are little crosses. They look like little braids. So what you're going to do is every single time you see a cross, you're going to count those up, and you should have 10. So I'm going to show you one that I have previously done, and this is what it's going to look like with the brim. Looks cute. This is the brim. So now what we're doing is making the brim. You're going to release the string that's right here on this little peg from where we started. This will still always be your starting point and ending point. So you're going to release that, and then what you're going to do next is on the loops, there are little holes at the bottom. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to take your hook and you're going to grab that little hole and you're going to put it up on top. And you want to make sure it lines up with the perfect one. I'm going to grab it real quick. It's going to look like this. And then you're going to put it on top of the one you start at, which would be this one. And you're going to do that for every single one. And usually how you can tell is that the next one it leads up from here. As you can tell, it leads up right there. So what you could do is you just take that one and put that one on top. And then and this is what you're going to have to do to have your second. So what you should have now is a fold. It's going to look like this. It looks thicker. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do your bottom over the top like we did earlier. And then you're going to leave off with 1, like how we did in the beginning. And you're just going to follow that process all the way up to the one where you started. And then you're going to have your brim. So now you should have a brim. You should only have 1 string per peg. And now you have your brim. that you have completed your brim, we're now going to be doing this part. Now you're going to need to add 14 more rows. Now all you're going to do is keep on flipping and adding more rows. And once you have completed your 14 rows, then I will show you how to do the top. Now we're going to flip. So now you should have 19 rows done, 5 from the brim and 14 from the hat. And now what you're going to do is now you're going to cast it off. What you're going to do is you're going to wrap this string around the loom, and you're going to want to meet, and then once you have it like this, then you're going to want to go 3 pegs more from when you started, and then you're going to cut it. So now you're going to take your yarn needle and you're going to stick the piece of yarn that you cut through it. Might have a hard time with this. And there we go. And now what you're going to do is there are little slivets in the loom, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to go up underneath. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go up underneath the piece of string, and then you're gonna pull it up like so, how the string's underneath. Then you're gonna pull it up, and then you're gonna take it off. And then you're gonna repeat that process for every single one. So now I'm just finishing my last 2. And now once you have done it, you're going to close it just a little bit, and then now you're going to flip it inside out, but putting the needle on the outside. It's going to put the needle inside the hat, flip the hat inside out. Now you're going to close it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pull it tight. You do not want to hold at the top. And now you're going to basically you're going to sew it across. And now after you've done 2 times of sewing it, you're now going to knot it. Now you're going to cut off the excess. And that's what you have done so far. So once you have cut the rest of your yarn, now you're going to flip it back inside out, and then now you have your nice little beanie. Congratulations! Now you have made your first baby hat. Here are some things to think about the next time you make one. Experiment with different yarns and loom sizes. Use a number 4 yarn to make a newborn or toddler hat. You can also make beanies for adults using larger looms like a 36 or 40 peg looms. And try using 2 strands of number 4 yarn, single strand of number 5 bulky yarn, or number 6 super bulky yarn.